Before we get started in today's video, you can use code MUSCLEX for $200 off any kind of computer pre-built over at Artesian. If you're interested, link will be down in the description. So if you read the TWAB that came out not that long ago, they talked about Warlock and how they nerfed some things for Warlocks. They nerfing the movement, nerfing the Icarus Dash, nerfing Geomags, nerfing Chaos Reach, all that stuff. And now you're wondering, well, what do I use now? Because, you know, you want to use whatever the best class is. And as of right now, Warlocks are the best class in my opinion, with Icarus Dash being so powerful as it is. And so we're going to go ahead and do a video on Hunter movement. So first off, this is the build that I run when I play with my Hunter. Honestly, all you need for a Hunter is just mobility. Try and get high mobility. Anything over 6 or 7 is what you want. You can go for 100. You don't necessarily need 100. 100 helps a little bit. If you can get to 100, you should definitely do it. But I like to stick with kind of this much just because this is what my build allows me to do. I still like having high recovery. If I wanted higher, I totally could. One mod you will need is Powerful Friends. Obviously, Powerful Friends helps out a lot. It gives you the plus 20 mobility. With all these clips that are being shown in here, I am going to be using Stompies. Most of the time, 100 mobility. I'm not too sure if you can use Dragon Shadow. I'd imagine you can. It helps a lot with the mobility. You probably can stick on Dragon Shadow and you'd be just as fine. It wouldn't matter. Either one of them would work. But for me, I prefer Stompies more than Dragon Shadows. A lot of the things that you kind of take advantage with Hunter is being how agile you are, how much more verticality you have compared to a lot of other classes. And I'm going to talk about a simple trick that many people really don't know about Hunter. And especially if you've never played Hunter before and you're coming to pick it up after this new season because of Warlock being nerfed and stuff. Usually what I run for my jumps is you want strafe jump. Most of the time you want to do strafe jump. You don't want to do high jump. You don't want to do triple jump. The only time that I recommend running triple jump is if you're in the middle of a game and you want to try and get to high spots, or you want to get into some cheeky angles or whatever. I'll show off a couple of them there. And at that point, I'll put on triple jump and I'll let you know when. In my opinion, stick with strafe jump as much as you can. So when you jump as a Hunter and you hit spacebar, you go as high as you go because of your mobility stat. And so for me, it's this high when I just hit space, right? If you just tap space, and I'll kind of line it up with this wall, click down spacebar or A or whatever your input is, hold the space bar. You're gonna go higher. That's just me tapping. Like, I'm just tapping spacebar. Like, jump, jump. You can see that I literally just go that high. If you're in engagement and you want to get distance and you want to create a gap in between you and the player, or you want to engage into a fight and jump into a fight, jump and hold spacebar. You go way higher than intended, and especially if you have more mobility, you'll go farther. So if I'm running over here and I want to push this engagement and say someone's holding an angle right there, instead of me tapping it like that, and you see how much less of an impact that was, if I want to get into a fight, instead, I will jump and hold spacebar, and now I'm higher. And I've created a bigger distance and a bigger gap. Verticality is one of the things that you break lines of sight with people, and that's what a lot of people mess up with, because it's harder to go from here to there than it is to go from here to here, or here to here. Or if they're just sliding, it's just that. And if they're ready for you, it's like that. But if you're jumping and you're doing an arc jump from here to here, you're more than likely going to win the fight if you have good aim. And again, it's as simple as literally just holding spacebar into a fight. Don't let go of spacebar till you hit the ground. So let's talk about head bouncing. Now, head bouncing is a great mechanic as a Hunter to be able to create distance and to just beat somebody to an angle and just surprise them, or to get away from something. Again, this is better with higher mobility, and I might be able to show you with higher mobility and stick it on. But let's say you're spawning here on this outside edge and you want to get inside and you want to get up there as quick as possible and be able to challenge somebody or win a fight. So as soon as you spawn in, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take advantage of these ceilings. These ceilings are extremely low. You can see when I double tap space, I'm basically head bouncing. I'm literally just holding W and holding space and tapping space, and I'm head bouncing. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take advantage of it. You're going to just basically bonk your head onto the ceiling. You tap, and you jump again when you hit the ground and you're about to exit. So you need to find a way to run, and as soon as you get here, you just want to head bounce. What I'll do with head bouncing is I won't use my double jump here. Like, I'm not going to spam my double jump. I don't want to hit the top as a double jump. I want to start by jumping normally without hitting my burst, like my vertical burst. I just want to normally hit spacebar and hit my head, and then when I hit the ceiling, then I'll actually use my spacebar. So it's jump, double tap, hit the ground, double tap again. Jump, double tap, hit the ground, double tap again. So again, this is with me with 100 mobility, and I'll do the exact same thing I did earlier. you can see you still get a good distance. Again, it's just finding the right time of when to hit spacebar, but it just takes practice. Again, you just got to hit your head off the ceiling and just find the right timing of when you want to excel out and double burst out, because sometimes you can go a lot farther than others. A big mechanic and a big part of hunters, I feel like, is kind of just getting as high as you can and just finding crazy ways to exploit things, in my opinion. And I've done a pretty good job of doing that. Like, what separates good hunters from other hunters is knowing your surroundings and knowing what you can abuse, essentially. Like, there's a lot of really good creative ways. Just go into a private match and just find ways to kind of traverse around the map, because again, it'll make you different compared to other hunters. Like this one right here, you can find really good creative ways to be able to kill somebody or to fight somebody. And I really want to be able to show you guys how to be able to do certain things like this, because it's a lot of fun to be able to mess around with specific spots and to get the jump on somebody and to be able to win a specific fight. Yeah, things will get patched over time. Yeah, things might not plan out to be that well after a while. That makes you want to go back into a private match and to find more things again to abuse, or find more ways to be able to outplay an opponent that wouldn't know typically where you are. Again, yeah, being creative and just finding ways to be able to do specific things is kind of what makes us hunters. Again, like this right here is another wall bounce, another head bounce. I created that distance, I made that space. It's just up to you and you, the player, to be able to find your playstyle and be able to make it your own. One more thing that I don't see a lot of people do with hunters when it comes to movement is sliding. Now, I know sliding is going to get nerfed, but it's kind of more on topic of shade step along with the slide. But let's say you want to engage a fight right here, and you slide out or you jump out, doesn't matter what it is, and you slide out and you're in a fight right here. A lot of people will try and take this fight in a 1v1, or they'll slide out, they'll see two people and they'll just try and fight it and they're gonna die. A lot of people will just not use their shade step. If I slide out and I see two, I'm immediately shade stepping out. I know I'm not gonna win that fight if there's two. Now if I jump out, I'm committed to the fight. I'm gonna die no matter what, or survive. Another one too is if you're shooting twice, shade step out. Be able to use the shade step, be able to have it use it as much as possible, especially with 100 mobility or higher mobility. You're gonna get your shade step back faster. So, you know, a really good thing too is just to break line of sight. You know, if you're fighting somebody, like let's say you slide up here and somebody's right here, slide off the map and then jump up, and now you've broken line of sight. They have to push you. You can back up even more, jump up here, get a different angle, play this, and look at that. I already almost have my dodge again, so I can do it again. And just for reference, you know, it takes a lot of game sense and knowledge to understand what to do. But if I slide out and I see two people here, I will shade step backwards and do this. Find ways to be creative. Don't just always want to walk around a corner like this and just try and fight somebody and walk out like that, or, you know, or anything like that. Just kind of get that verticality going, get that sliding going, try and shade step around something, or break line of sight. And for some of the crazier spots that are out there in the game, and most of these are patched, but this is one of them that hasn't been used a lot. I don't see a lot of people use it. Nobody ever knows about it. It's just never talked about. And if you stick on high jump, and again, you very rarely can have to use high jump for a lot of these things. Maps for Midtown are really good for high jump, because you can actually break really good verticality. But if you stand on top of this little side here, you can actually get up here and you can fight an angle. Like, look at this. You have so much time up here. It's insane. After a little bit, it will kick you off and it'll tell you to turn back or whatever. But the time that you have to break that is crazy. So you have high jump on, you run over here, you touch this, and you jump up here. And now you have a crazy line of sight towards heavy, to that angle, whatever it is. Again, you can stay up there for like 6 seconds before you have to shade step off and just reset. And I can't stress this enough. Everyone's different when it comes to hunter. You find what makes you as a hunter. Honestly, the more you play, the better you're gonna get, and the more unique things that you do as a hunter, the better you are, because no one's gonna know what you're gonna do. You're gonna be different than every other hunter out there, and that's what takes an average hunter to be a really good hunter, is how much they know their movement. So play around with a couple of these techniques that I taught you guys a little bit today. Find some cheeky angles, find some cheeky spots, have fun with it, and try and get better at it. This takes a lot of time to be able to perfect, so don't think you can do all this stuff overnight. It takes a really good amount of hours. I have like 1,800 hours playing as a hunter. I've played as a hunter since D1, So I understand the movement and how to be able to head bounce and do all these things. Find what makes you different than everyone else. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.